You are welcome here.
I see everything. Everyone hold hands.
Let's end this now. Now testing my patience.
I'm getting sick.
Quicker. Will.
Illusion shattered!
I see everything. Everyone hold hands.
Will. Meet.
Things are about to get dicey.
I see everything. Everyone hold hands.
A process of elimination. Now you're testing my patience. We'll meet again. Regret.
I see everything.
Here comes the catch. There is no escape. Now you shall perish.
Everyone hold hands.
Now you're testing.
Let's change tactics. Let's play for a little.
Meet.
Hello.
Gotcha.
W.
Illusion shattered.
Scatter!
Things are about to get dicey. Shine down.
I see everything.
Now you're testing my patience. We'll meet again.
There is no escape.
This If you ever have any questions...
Shine down.
Ad Astra Abyssosk. Well, thank you for complete.
Take it easy.
Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it.
You're also here for Mondstadt's wine.
Ancient alchemy truly is fascinating.
The neighboring nation of Liyue has the most prosperous commercial port in all of Tibet.
I thought I told him to spray it with water to retain moisture before applying the film. You can't treat a glaze lily like a cactus. If Sanjay does this again, the loss will have to come out of his food expenses.
I'll go talk to him. At this rate, he won't even be able to afford eating cacti for much longer.
Hey, Tainari!
Oh, it's you two. It's been a while. What brings you to Port Ormos?
We didn't have anything to do, and this place looked pretty lively, so we decided to stop by. But, what's with all the flowers around here?
Well, Port Ormos is currently organizing a flower exhibition featuring flowers and plants from all over Teyvat, so I came to help out. The exhibition includes flowers from every corner of the world, each with their own unique properties and needs. With that in mind, the curator commissioned a flower pot from Kasharawar capable of retaining heat and moisture. Even so, an expert is still required to develop tailored transportation and care plans for each type of flower.
Oh, and that expert is you, right?
Not this time, no. I'm just here to help out. The expert in charge is someone else.
Mr. Tainari! Sanjay! He confused the poisonous bulbs with garlic shoots, and he ate them!
Never mind. Forget about what I said about the food expenses. Apologies, Traveler, Paimon. Looks like I've got something to take care of. I'll be back in just a moment.
Tainari's busy no matter where he is, huh? Yeah, seems like it. Some people just need supervision. Well, looks like Tainari might be busy for a while. Let's take a look around the port in the meantime. Wow, look at these flowers! They smell so...
Huh?
Paimon's... fine. She's just got a little...
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilia's? No wonder.
It's getting worse. Why? But, I was fine just a moment ago. She didn't even eat anything weird.
A moment of your time, you two? If it's not too much trouble, perhaps you could try this incense.
Incense? Oh, the scent is so nice! Wait! Whoa, that was fast! Paimon doesn't have to sneeze anymore!
Think nothing of it. From your attire, I imagine you two aren't from Sumeru either. Seeing as we're both travelers from abroad, it's only right that we help each other out should the occasion arise.
Oh, so you're here for the flower exhibition too?
I suppose that's accurate. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Emily, a perfumer from Fontaine.
Paimon is Paimon! Thank you so much for your help just now. Oh, and this is...
The Traveler, right? I've heard a lot about you from the Steambird. It's nice to finally put a face to the name.
What happened back there? Why did Paimon start sneezing all of a sudden?
Have you ever heard of hay fever? To put it simply, when inhaled, certain pollens can trigger abnormal physical reactions.
But Paimon has seen these kinds of flowers before and nothing weird happened then.
Well, we're all different. The factors that can trigger a reaction to certain stimuli vary by person. In isolation, the effects of certain pollens may seem minimal, but inhaling various types at once can trigger a more overt reaction. But There's no need to worry. Pollen allergies can be effectively mitigated with the use of medication.
Oh, well, that's good.
Traveler, Paimon, there you are. Is everything all right? I left in such a hurry, I forgot to warn you about all the pollen in the air. Emily? Ah, what a coincidence. Looks like my worry was misplaced then. The Traveler and Paimon are in good hands.
It was nothing, really. We happened to run into each other shortly after my arrival, and I offered them a bit of help, that's all. I'm more curious as to why you thought the Traveler and Paimon were in danger. Allergies are highly unpredictable. If you were concerned the pollen might trigger a reaction, that must mean something.
Remember the first time we met? You fainted after inhaling Spirit Borneal.
The Spirit Borneal didn't affect Paimon at all, and now she's the one suffering. It makes no sense.
It's not really something you can make sense out of, Paimon. There are all kinds of allergies out there, caused by a variety of different factors. Some people are even allergic to almonds. It's not something you can generalize.
Exactly. I even encountered a case in Fontaine where someone had an allergic reaction to soba noodles their family brought back from Inazuma.
Whoa. Good thing Paimon isn't allergic to anything delicious.
In a manner of speaking, although you could say the patients I deal with are rather unusual.
In addition to medicine, Emily is also very knowledgeable about botany. She's taught me a lot about the native flora around Fontaine.
And that's where my expertise ends, I'm afraid. When it comes to breadth of knowledge, Tighnari certainly comes out on top.
A flower expert? Oh, Paimon's got it! You must be the expert Tighnari mentioned, the one in charge of the exhibition!
Wrong again, I'm afraid.
Well, I did come for the exhibition, but only to inquire about the Auguste variety. I'm not involved in any official capacity.
Oh, Paimon was sure she got it right this time.
It's a kind of flower that was once popular in Fontaine. The perfume made from it also bears the same name, Auguste.
Auguste, huh? That's not a name you hear often nowadays.
In an ancient language, the word is said to mean sacred or noble. It's sometimes used as a name for people as well. Ah, that reminds me. Are you familiar with the historical event in Fontaine known as Perfume Mania? Perfume Mania was an event that occurred in Fontaine nearly 20 years ago. It all started when several merchants released their own lines of high-end, expensive perfumes, marketing them as must-have luxury products, the very symbol of elegance itself. No one anticipated the absolute frenzy this would create on the market, causing the price of perfumes to skyrocket. The demand was twofold. What some saw as a status symbol, most saw as a money-making opportunity. You could take advantage of the soaring price by hoarding them and reselling at even higher margins. The value of these products became so inflated, regular bottles of perfume were even going for hundreds of thousands of mora. This resulted in countless disputes and scams. But at the end of the day, perfume is just perfume. The market value greatly exceeded the intrinsic worth of the product, creating an economic bubble that was never going to last. Luckily, the Palais Mermonia recognized the danger and intervened before the craze could truly spread. Many profiteers and scammers were thrown in jail as a result. In the end, only a few wealthy families were affected when the bubble popped.
What does all this have to do with that Auguste you mentioned earlier?
Well, during the craze, the most popular perfume was none other than Auguste. The demand far exceeded the supply, to the point where
10 million? Then what about now?
after the mania ended, most perfumes returned to a normal price. Auguste was the only exception. Its namesake, the flower used to create it, went extinct. As a result, no new bottles of Auguste have been made, and the value of the... Indeed, the Auguste flower was not a natural variety, you see. It was specially cultivated for use in perfume making. When the bubble popped, all the flower beds used for its cultivation were destroyed in a fire. The variety has never been seen since.
But didn't you say you came to the exhibition to look for it?
Ah, yes. I came to investigate a certain rumor that the Auguste flower has reappeared in Sumeru. It's causing quite the stir in the Fontaine perfume market.
Traveler, we should help Emily look for it.
I have to agree. Emily wrote me to ask if I could look into the rumor, but the forest rangers haven't received any reports of new plant species recently.
even if I can locate the flower, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed, Paimon. I don't have any grand Mora-making endeavors planned. Divine, noble, one of a kind, all beautiful sentiments to be sure, but to me, they overshadow the very essence of the product. When it comes to perfume, I want people to forget the price and the prestige and focus on the beauty of the fragrance itself.
Wow, so noble!
Of course, there's also a more practical reason. In recent years, low-grade counterfeit versions of Auguste have been popping up on the Fontaine perfume market. Every so often, someone will claim to have recreated the unique scent of Auguste, and the rumor mill will start comparing the counterfeits to my own work.
Okay, that's more like the reason Paimon had in mind.
Ever since that rumor started, 3 new perfumes claiming to be made from the Auguste flower have appeared on the market. If I can dispel the fanaticism surrounding Auguste, even just by proving the rumor to be false, Fontaine's perfume market can finally start to get back to normal. Then I'll be free from all the stories and added meaning and just focus on making what I like.
That makes sense.
Oh, I would of course be grateful for your help, but I wouldn't want to trouble you.
Well, you said it yourself. We're both travelers from abroad, so it's only right that we help each other out.
Ha! I suppose you're right. Then you have my thanks.
Based on the information I have so far, it's unclear if the rumor is true. Mr. Edgar also thinks it's too early to say, but you could always go talk to him. He was there all those years ago, after all. Maybe he'll know something.
Huh, I was just about to pay him a visit at the hotel.
Edgar? Who's that?
The person you've been trying to guess this whole time. The flower expert in charge of the exhibition. He's also the most respected and experienced perfumer in the area. Back when he was still working in Fontaine, Auguste was his creation.
I should also mention, he was my teacher, the one who taught me the basics of perfumery when I apprenticed in Sumeru.
So this guy was a famous perfumer in Fontaine, but then he came to Sumeru to teach people from Fontaine? It sounds confusing.
It's a long story. If you're interested, we can talk more about it when we see him. He should be staying near the hotel. Apparently, the exhibitor paid a large sum to rent out the hotel and surrounding buildings. They're being used as temporary storage facilities and lodging for exhibition personnel.
Yeah, what if guests come early? They won't have anywhere to stay. Also, renting out this big of a hotel, how are they going to make that Mora back?
It's been so long. I almost didn't recognize you, Edgar.
Well, you and your brother haven't changed a bit.
Oh, yeah, all this catching up is nice and all, but let's get down to business. We need to talk about Kyria. Is he...
Hold on, we have guests.
It's nice to see you again, Master.
Emily? Is that you? Oh, it's been years. Look at you. You're all grown up. I've heard you've become quite the famous perfumer in Fontaine. It would seem the student has surpassed the master.
Oh, well, it's all thanks...
Hardly. I taught you the basics. Hearing you call me Master, well, I'm not sure I'm deserving of that title. I've taught many students here in Sumeru over the years, but I've yet to see one turn out quite as accomplished as you. You're the only one who can take credit for that success. And who are these two? I don't recall you mentioning them in your letter.
Ah, they're my new friends, the Traveler and Paimon.
Emily's friends. Well then, the pleasure is all mine.
And these two gentlemen? Are they friends of yours, Master?
Of course. We're perfume merchants from Fontaine. I'm Oud, and this here is my younger brother, Blaze. Edgar and the two of us are old friends. Isn't that right, gentlemen?
Yes.
Merchant brothers?
You must be here to look for the August flower, then.
Huh?
Well, what respectable perfume merchant hasn't heard of Auguste? Anyone in the business would be interested in the rumors.
I'm guessing you're here for the same reason, Emily. We were just about to get into it, so you three might as well join in. I commissioned a few eremites to do some scouting for me. They searched all over Sumeru, but there were no sightings of the Auguste flower. That being said, there are people in Port Ormos who claim to have smelled a unique fragrance on the streets. Definitely floral, but still distinct. Some of them were merchants who lived in Fontaine 20 years ago. According to them, the fragrance smelled exactly like the Auguste they remember from back then. A one-of-a-kind, divine, and noble scent.
Maybe someone around here just happens to have a bottle of Auguste from back then.
No, I don't think so. I doubt that's the case. Even if someone had a bottle that was never opened, the fragrance of the perfume would have changed over time. Very few perfumes can go decades without a change in scent. Auguste is even more prone to that kind of shift. Only a few bottles still exist in Fontaine, and their scent would have completely degraded by now. Although, could there be a flower out there with a similar fragrance? Or in accord with the same base notes?
Impossible! If Auguste were that easy to replicate, it would never have sold for such a high price all those years ago. The Auguste flower is back. It has to be.
Technically speaking, the scent wouldn't be impossible to imitate.
Well, let's table that question for now. Edgar, did any of those people mention where the scent was coming from?
No. By the time they realized they had smelled something, the scent was already gone. If I hadn't asked about it, they probably wouldn't have given the experience a second thought. Compared to things we see and hear, smells can be much easier to overlook.
It almost sounds like someone wearing the Auguste fragrance passed them on the street.
Wait, are you saying...
Just thinking out loud. Don't pay me any mind.
We don't have much to go off of right now, but we can't rule out that possibility. I'll send some more people to investigate. You all traveled so far to be here. Why don't you rest in the hotel for a bit? Oud, Blaze, this is the key to your room.
Ooh, you've got the keys to the rooms? Do we get free lodging too?
My apologies. All the rooms in the hotel are accounted for, I'm afraid. Most are being used for storage ahead of the exhibition, you see. I managed to tidy up one of the rooms for these two at the last minute, but by the time Emily wrote to me, there was no more space left for her to stay.
Oh, and we just showed up out of the blue. Guess that means there's definitely no space for us.
I should have been more considerate. Here I am with an entire hotel at my disposal and no place...
Don't worry, Master. I can sleep on the boat tonight. Or I could even camp in the wild. It would give me the opportunity to collect some plant specimens while I'm here in Sumeru. Even better. Although, would it be possible for me to leave some of my luggage here? It would be rather cumbersome to take it camping. It shouldn't take up too much space.
Well,
Of course, no trouble at all. My brother and I will keep an eye on them for you, as long as you don't mind, mademoiselle.
all right then. Ood, why don't you take Emily inside and find a suitable place for her luggage? I'll prepare some refreshments and join you in a bit.
Whoa, the smell of flowers is so strong. Didn't Edgar say he tidied up around here? There's still so many flowers. Hyman took a peek through the window earlier and his house was packed with flowers. Looks like this exhibition is gonna be huge.
No, that's a florist thing. We work closely with the essential oils of various plants, but to maintain a sharp sense of smell, most perfumers prefer to keep their homes free of strong odors.
Oh, guess there's just too much to store for the exhibition then.
Oh, this room seems to be a connected suite, and my brother will be staying on the other side of the suite. Blaze, while you're out, why don't you bring our luggage over as well? Ahem, Blaze!
Yes, of course.
All right, then. Where can we find your luggage, mademoiselle? Blaze will go fetch it for you.
It's still at the port. In addition to some daily necessities, there's also a case of amber wine that I brought back from Fontaine. Could I trouble you to bring that back as well? It would be the perfect way to repay you for your hospitality.
Ha ha! How generous! I should thank you on my brother's behalf. You've stumbled upon his weakness. He's aloof about most things, but alcohol is his one true love.
Is that so? Mr. Ood, Mr. Blaze, thanks for...
Hey! What are you doing?
That's Master's voice.
Hey, Edgar. Are you all right? Can you hear me?
Who did this?
Kyria. August.
Kyria.
Hey, Edgar? Edgar!
No, don't shake him. He's injured. Just leave him to me. You two can... Oh, thank you.
That strange smell around here. Is it coming from this bottle? Oh, really?
Torn to oblivion!
Do you think whoever did this was hiding in the flowers before they attacked Edgar?
There is no escape!
I checked. It doesn't look like anyone passed through here.
Oh, but that's impossible. It's not like that kid can just grow some wings and fly away. Oh, the culprit, I mean. It's not like the culprit could have just disappeared into thin air.
Well, we looked all over, but the only clue we found was that bottle.
The most important thing we can do now is focus our efforts on treating Master. Can you help me move him inside?
So, how's he doing?
When I administered emergency treatment, I discovered a residue in his nose and mouth. Master was most likely forced to ingest a certain liquid. He's still unconscious, and inducing vomiting could obstruct his airways. We'll have to look into other clues for now. Ah, yes. The scent is the same, but the chemical composition is still unclear. We'll have to do further tests to determine if it's the same liquid and how toxic it is to the human body. But first, I do believe there are two people who could shed some light on the situation. Mr. Sylvain, Mr. Lucien.
Wait, you know...
Hey! Were you talking to us, mademoiselle? I'm afraid we've never heard of those names before.
Before arriving in Sumeru, I asked a friend from the Special Patrol to look into the creators of Auguste. There were 4 people in total. The perfumer, Edgar, the one thrust into the limelight, and 3 others. A researcher from Sumeru responsible for cultivating the Auguste flower, and 2 merchant brothers responsible for promoting the product on the market. The two brothers capitalized on the mythos surrounding Auguste. Their actions lured in numerous speculators and profiteers, inflating the price of Auguste even further. In the end, they were sent to the Fortress of Meripede for falsifying their accounts and destabilizing the market. If you do the math, they should be out of prison by now.
And what does that have to do with us? There are countless merchant families in Fontaine. You gonna accuse them of being criminals too?
Every time your brother called you Blaze, it took you several seconds to respond. But when I called you Lucien just now, the name registered immediately.
Miss Emily, out of respect for your position as a famous perfumer in Fontaine, I'm inclined to believe that was simply a poor attempt at humor. You have a bright future ahead of you. You wouldn't want to develop a reputation as someone who throws around false accusations, especially among merchant circles.
You claim to be regular perfume merchants, and yet, when I brought up amber wine, you took it to be alcohol.
What?
Amber wine is a perfume I created several years ago. It wasn't particularly renowned, but I'm certain any respectable perfume merchant in Fontaine would know of it. Unless, until recently, they were living somewhere completely cut off from the perfume world. Somewhere like the Fortress of Meripede, perhaps?
Emily, you little...
Don't misunderstand, Mr. Sylvain. I don't bring this up to criticize you. No matter what happened all those years ago, the court has already passed its judgment. But Master's life is in danger. We need to learn whatever we can about the person who has done this. If Master's attack had something to do with Auguste, I would imagine the two of you might also be in danger. So I'd like to trouble you for some information, if I may. Tell me about Kyria.
Fine, as you wish.
Sylvain!
Lucien, if this will help us find Kyria, then it will be all worth it. Besides, we've already told most of the stuff to the Maison Orderly anyway. You were right, Miss Emily. There were 4 of us at the beginning. Myself, Lucien, Edgar, and the researcher from Sumeru in charge of flower cultivation, Vijava. Sometime down the road, the Marechaussee Phantom came knocking, saddled us with a list of accusations, and started looking into our books. They did their meddling, and my brother Edgar and I were forced to serve time in the fortress as a result.
Sounds like he's still upset about that. Wait, then how did Edgar end up in Sumeru?
Master was convicted as an accomplice, so he only had to serve a few years. He decided to move to Sumeru so that he could put those events behind him. Still, Master was depressed for a long time after that. He stopped making new perfumes and focused on introducing students to the craft instead. That's how I met him. My parents had to relocate to Sumeru for work when I was a child, so I had the chance to study under him for a little while. But we can talk about that some other time. I want to hear more about this researcher, Vijava.
Like us, Vijava was also staring down an investigation from the Marechaussee Phantom. But before the Phantom showed up at her door, she set all the flower beds on fire, along with much of the mora we managed to earn. All the Auguste flowers, everything we worked to create, was reduced to nothing but a pile of ash.
But destroying all that evidence, wouldn't that make things worse for her?
It didn't matter at that point, because she died in the fire as well.
What?
Sounds like you did an investigation of your own. Why even ask us if you knew all of this already?
The name wasn't mentioned in any of the files I reviewed either, but you two seem quite familiar with him.
Kyria was Vijava's younger brother. He was just a clueless kid back then. Somewhere in his teens, I think. He helped his sister with her work sometimes, but that was pretty much it. He didn't have any idea what we were doing. Vijava kept him close most of the time. The three of us were probably the only ones who even knew she had a brother. After our operation was compromised, he disappeared. There were no signs of him until recently, when people started saying the August flower had reappeared in Sumeru.
So, you think Kyria took something with him back then? Something that allowed him to reproduce the August flower?
Vijava doted on the kid like you wouldn't believe. She even told us to give her cut to her brother if anything happened to her. If she left something behind before she died, believe me, Kyria's the one that has it.
And judging by the liquid in that bottle, the August flower wasn't the only thing he reproduced. He managed to replicate the perfume itself.
So the liquid Edgar was forced to ingest really was August. Wait,
Poison? No. Of course not. If August could be considered a poison, we wouldn't have even sold half a bottle back then. Edgar fell unconscious because Kyria forced him to drink perfume. He probably thought we had something to do with his sister. We're not looking for Kyria because we have it out for him. We just wanted to see how he was doing. And, if possible, work together to bring back August. We only went to prison for a bit of fraud and market manipulation. It had nothing to do with the product itself. As long as we keep things honest this time around, bringing the product back to market would almost be like honoring his sister's memory.
So that's why you never mentioned Kyria during your interrogation?
Yes, exactly. We were just looking out for the kid.
Anyway, that's all we know. If you're looking for information on what's in August, or what to do if you ingest it, there are only two people to ask: Edgar or Kyria himself.
Well, at least we're able to say for certain that the substance Edgar ingested was in fact August. That gives us a direction for further testing. Well then, I'd say that was a very enlightening discussion.
Well, glad to... Lucian, let's head back to the room and rest a bit.
Yes.
You think so too? That does seem to be the case. Pity we don't have more evidence. But based on Sylvain's tone of voice just now,
the way you exposed them like that, just based on a hunch? That was genius! Oh, right! Earlier you said you were only...
Oh yes, that's because most of the patients I encounter are already dead.
So you're a forensic doctor?
Close. I'm actually a forensic cleaner. Once the forensic team and the Marachese Phantom are done collecting evidence from the scene, I'm in charge of clearing away the final traces my patients leave on the world. In fact, with just a small alteration to the formula, the same tincture used as the base of perfume can also be made into a cleaning agent. Basically, I've learned a lot in my line of work, and I've witnessed a lot of death. But this time, we may still save the patient. Actually, Traveler, could I trouble you to report back to Tainari and the officer? I'll stay here and...
hold hands.
If you want to buy me out, you should offer at least twice as much as that.
I see everything.
Those who are greedy with small things will get into big trouble one day.
How much money do I have to earn to build a palace?
I see everything.
Can't these idle people find something useful to do?
If I had a lot of money, I'd keep it in my hands and never give it to anybody.
I'm hungry.
Hey!
I'm hungry.
Everyone?
Do these inspectors who come around every day think I'm with the Fatui? Why am I constantly really not?
Hey!
Why can't everyone just be like me and do things according to the rules?
Simple-minded people are better off not doing business.
I see everything.
Simple-minded people are better off not doing business. They must have some tricks up their sleeves.
Whoa, why the rush? Did something happen?
What? He's the most famous perfumer in the
Sheriff, have you received any reports of a
No, but I'll start gathering my forces.
What about you, Tainari? Do you have a plan?
I'm sure the sheriff can handle things over at the scene, and I doubt Emily needs my help looking after Mr. Edgar.
But she said she's not a real doctor.
Then she was far too modest. She may not be a doctor by trade, but she has a deeper understanding of human anatomy and pharmacology than most scholars from the Amorta Darshan. Not to mention the fact that Mr. Edgar's condition is related to perfume. Emily is certainly in the best position to help him. As for me, I'll head to the academia and see what I can learn about Vijava and Kirya.
Oh, that's right! Vijava was supposed to be a scholar from Sumeru. Do you recognize the name?
From Emily's letter, certainly, but that was the first time I'd heard of it. The academia produces a lot of scholars, and there are plenty of graduates who choose to pursue a career outside their darshan. I didn't have time to look into it earlier, but now it seems like Vijava's past could be critical to getting to the bottom of what happened to Mr. Edgar. I have friends in Sumeru City that can help me investigate. With any luck, we'll have news to share by tomorrow. I'll leave you and Emily.
This will be a productive partnership, I hope.
I'll bring my seasonings.
You want me on your team?
Shine down!
You are not
Lake
welcome
Bear.
here.
Nice and spicy.
Let's light it up! Off we go! Huh? Let's light it up!
There is no escape!
Is that all you've got?
Ha! Ha!
That's gonna hurt! Why do they never miss?
Let's end this now! Now you're just
Going in!
Eat this!
gotcha!
Inazuma shines eternal! Illusion shattered! Ha! Ha!
Time to go to work.
Insolent!
Boba, get them!
Let's light it up! Everybody stand back! Everlasting as the moon!
Shine down! Torn to oblivion!
Now you're testing my patience.
Teamwork is dreamwork!
Inazuma shines eternal!
We'll meet again.
Welcome, welcome.
Everybody stand back!
You're toast!
Illusion shattered!
Now you're testing my
Now
patience.
you shall perish!
We'll meet again.
Shine down!
Nice and spicy!
Transfixed! Teamwork is strength! That's gonna hurt in the... Torn to oblivion! Laid bare! That's gonna hurt! Let's light it up!
Is that all you've got?
Absurd! Shine down! Everybody stand!
Eat this!
Now you shall perish! Illusion shattered!
Meet again.
Well, it's been a day. Wonder if Tainari's But things weren't looking good with Emily's master yesterday. We should check on things at the hotel first. Emily!
No longer in critical condition, thankfully. He's still very weak, but with a bit more rest, he should regain consciousness soon. My chemical analysis of a goose also went smoothly, although it certainly raised some questions. I was able to identify the components that...
Elemental energy?
Hard to say. I had to use one of the newest tests developed. Unless you were abnormally sensitive to elemental energy, I doubt it would have any effect. As for whether Master's condition was caused by the elemental energy present in the sample or some other component of the perfume, it's...
Oh, that reminds Paimon. Did Tainari come?
I received a message from him last night, but I haven't heard anything since. The message said he was looking into some information at the academia.
Oh, Paimon thought he might have stopped by to see you for... excuse me? Is Miss Emily here? Oh, perfect! Familiar faces! Traveler, Paimon, you're here too!
Kale. Ah, of course. Tainari's apprentice. He's mentioned you many... And please, no need for formalities. Emily is just...
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you too, Miss... Did Tainari send you here, Kale? Yep. Master and the others went through decades worth of records last night, and still haven't had a chance to rest. I'm fast on my feet, so it only made sense for me to come and give you an update. Anyway, based on what they've reviewed so far, they believe there's no indication that a researcher by the name of Vichava ever passed through the academia. Master considered that possibility as well, but the name wasn't the only dead end. Master tried to track down people with a similar research direction or background, but also couldn't find a match. How is that possible?
It's starting to seem very likely. If we want to figure out her true identity...
Hey! Lucian!
It's Sylvain! Wait, you don't think Kirio came back, do you?
That seems impossible. If someone came in or out of the hotel just... It's locked?
Lucien! Lucien! Come on! Wake up! Emily! Emily! My brother...
I'm sorry, Mr. Sylvain, but...
No, that's not possible!
Traveler, Kale, Mr. Sylvain has gone through a huge shock. He needs some space to calm down. Could one of you take him next door? It's not good for him to look at his brother's body like this.
Of course. Leave it to me.
Thank you both. Mr. Sylvain, let's get you up. Here, take my hand. Nice and slow. We'll take things from here. Just focus on getting some rest. Here, this way.
Poor guy. He's like a shell of his former self. He may have made some bad decisions in life, but right now, Paimon can't help but feel sorry for him.
Good person or bad, the death of a loved one is equally painful. All the moments he shared with his brother, every hardship and triumph they endured together.
If Kyria really was behind this, then...
Lucien can no longer speak, but the traces left behind... Traveler, I've got things covered here at the scene.
Who would have thought? Yesterday's case is... Miss Emily, I heard you're an experienced forensic...
Oh, I'm not actually a forensic doctor. I did take a look, though.
Then, would you mind helping us investigate?
Of course, I appreciate your trust. Many of the traces...
We'll help too. We don't know much about dead bodies, but you can leave the other clues to us. There are still so many places for us.
It's just one problem after another.
Did he pass away while he was unconscious?
And the windows are shut tight too. See?
Lucien.
I'm so sorry for your loss. like we've invested...
So, did you find anything?
Paimon can show you. Here, it'd be something like this.
But entering through the room next door without alerting Sylvain...
No, his reaction to the loss of his brother seemed genuine, and he doesn't have a motive.
Then what could have happened last night? I know Sylvain is still in shock, but...
I agree. Also, I've made some...
Mr. Sylvain, I need you to tell me everything you and your brother...
After Kyria attacked Edgar, my brother, we returned to our rooms and decided to lock all the doors. The only door we kept unlocked was the one connected. But I didn't hear any sort of commotion last night. Not a single noise. I woke up this...
So, no movement from the room next door. No forced entry via Sylvain's room. No signs of a struggle at the scene. And no external...
I did notice a few things about the body. Lucien's pupils were dilated. There weren't any traces of liquid in his mouth or nose, so it's unlikely he was forced to ingest anything.
A goose? No, that's not possible. Inhaling... no. Emily, you ran your...
No, I didn't find any...
See?
That may be true for most people.
Master!
Edgar? You're up and about already?
Thanks to Emily. Sylvain, no matter how hard you may try to hide it, even if we could keep it a secret, no, he would never give up. That's Vijava's real name. Yelena wasn't a scholar from Sumeru. She was an exiled Fatus from Snezhnaya.
A Fatus?
The Fatui. Well...
Ah, so you've already detected it.
Oh.
The August flower was created with the mutative and distorting power of a delusion.
A delusion?
The Fatui, delusions... I never would have thought a ghost was hiding this many secrets.
Born of a delusion, August contained distorted elemental energy.
That's enough, Edgar. At first, Yelena wanted to keep refining the perfume and the flower. But no, it didn't have any effect on ordinary people anyway.
So you decided poisoning people was worth the risk?
Listen, it's not like it was good for business. But all that talk about a goose being harmful over time... unless you were...
It may be true there are no records of a goose poisoning in Fontaine. But even if no one was acutely poisoned, willfully bringing a product to market despite explicit knowledge of its harmful effects is still a serious crime. That explains why you were so intent on keeping Yelena and Kyria's involvement a secret all this time, despite readily confessing to all your financial crimes. The Fatui, delusions, a goose. If the Marechaussee Phantom discovered the connect...
Ha! If I'd known coming to Sumeru would put a target on my back... All these years without any sign of Kyria, and he pops up out of no... A goose was harmless before.
So there's bad blood between you.
What about Yelena's death? Was that a cover-up too? Oh.
I'll admit, we thought about it at one point. We took care to disguise the product circulating on the market. But if the Marechaussee Phantom decided to look into the flower beds, it would have been the end. Yelena's... Before we could even put our plan in motion, Yelena beat us to it. She burned all her flower beds and threw herself into the fire as well.
But if her goal was to destroy evidence, there would have been no reason to do that to herself. Yeah, she could have just burned the flower beds and fled with her brother.
I thought about it for a long time, but it wasn't everything she did. One of the reasons they defected from the Fatui was the deterioration of Yelena's body due to her excessive use of a delusion. She didn't want her brother to follow in her footsteps after her death. After arriving in Fontaine, Yelena continued using the delusion to cultivate the Auguste flower, weakening her body even further. There were times when she couldn't even walk.
So she couldn't flee with her brother because she was afraid of holding him back.
If her true identity was exposed, she and her brother would face pressure from both Snezhnaya and Fontaine. The Auguste flower and Yelena's own corroded body both bore the mark of a delusion. So, in the end, she burnt it all to ash,
So the wealth you earned from Auguste,
Most likely. Before Yelena died, she said if anything happened to her, she was going to leave everything. That's why Lucien and I were searching for Kyria. To take back...
But why is Kyria out for revenge?
I don't think he knew his sister was nearing death. Yelena always wore heavy makeup around him to conceal her deteriorating appearance.
Then all we'll need to do is tell Kyria. I'm not so sure. Even if he knew the truth, he'd still find someone to blame. He might think Yelena was forced into using a delusion to cultivate Auguste, or something like that. It's hard to pull yourself out of that kind of hatred, especially when you've been living in that headspace for so many years.
Very true. Even if Yelena's death was her own
Edgar!
Think about it, Sylvain. If we hadn't been in such a hurry, if we hadn't been so blinded by greed, if we hadn't invited the Marechaussee Phantom to our door...
She knew her limits. She knew her days were numbered. Maybe it was for her brother, but she was in it for the Mora just as much as us. We were just trying to earn a bit of Mora. And what, we deserve to die for that? Target me for being the mastermind, sure. But what about Lucien? He was just following my orders. Lucien's crime... Was it really so extreme that he had to pay for it?
the only person that can answer that question is a judge.
Fine.
3 people from Fontaine, 1 from Snezhnaya. Well, we can only wait until the Academia sends someone to deal with it. I'm guessing we'll have to contact Fontaine as well. With the exhibition, we don't even have space.
The hotel could suffice. You could station a few officers to keep an eye on Sylvain and myself. Although with Sylvain's mental state and...
Mr. Edgar, are you saying...
If Sylvain is to stand trial, I'd just like to take care... As for Sylvain, would you be willing to grant that...
Well, all right. I'll talk to the man we grew to know in Sumeru proved himself to be a...
You have my thanks, Sheriff.
Happened tonight?
Yeah! All we know is that he uses a goose to poison people, but we still have no idea how to catch him in the act! If he targets Sylvain or Edgar again, we might not be able to stop him!
That may be true, but what if we can take advantage of his desperation? If we take advantage of this situation and lure him in on purpose, we might finally have the chance to talk to him.
Master, no! That's too
If Kyria learns we're being taken away tomorrow... In other words, you...
Capture? Not necessarily.
Afraid? I'm spending the rest of my life in prison anyway. I can't... As for the danger...
I'll admit, it could work. Then I'll station some of my men around the hotel.
I still have some reservations. But if you insist...
I'll also keep...
Although, I think Sylvain and myself, if Kyria noticed another person in the room, he might decide...
You mean if he doesn't see a way to get his hands on the two of you?
If that were to happen, everyone's standing guard.
That's why everyone else needs to keep to the shadows.
You're still recovering. You need to rest.
This old pack of bones doesn't bounce back like it used to.
All right, we can figure out a plan to keep watch later.
Have you heard? Mr. Edgar's been detained. He's being taken away tomorrow.
What? He's the one who helped craft all the fragrances for our shop.
He taught my child how to make perfume. How could this happen?
He hasn't been convicted yet. Let's just wait and see what the court has to say.
Oh, everyone on the street is talking about the rumors. Let's head back to the hotel and take a break. Sheriff Xian wants to talk to you and the Traveler about our plans for the Night Watch.
Thank you, Kale. But first, here. I prepared a kind of herbal tea that helps calm the spirit. Why don't you have some?
Oh, that's very kind of...
Oh, it's not good to be so... You seem very preoccupied with Kyria...
Hey, Emily! Kale! Oh, are we in No, not at all. This will be easier to talk through with you. I've just been thinking. If Kyria has the capacity to commit murder while remaining completely undetected, why didn't he target Sylvain along with Lucien last night? There was just a single door separating them. If his intention was to target both brothers, when I accompanied Sylvain to his room after Lucien died, maybe Kyria did that on purpose. Maybe he wanted Sylvain to experience the pain of losing a loved one before he completed his ultimate revenge. So did he attack Edgar as a warning then? To scare Sylvain and Lucien?
Based on what we've heard about Kyria, that may very well be the case.
Losing his sister all those years ago. Whenever I get to thinking like that, I just can't help but wonder. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't think like that.
There's nothing wrong with the way you're feeling. In all my years of cleaning up crime scenes, I've witnessed countless Some of them even try to stop me, begging me not to erase the last remnants of their loved ones. But getting swept up in those emotions will corrupt your judgment. Surround yourself with fragrance for too long, and your sense of smell. So while you hold on to that, do Sylvain and Lucien really deserve to die? How much did they truly know about the Fatui and the delusion? did they force Yelena to make those decisions? Answering those questions requires a lot of time and evidence, while a single I've witnessed a lot of deaths in Fontaine. When someone dies, a certain amount of information, but generally speaking...
Once you're consumed by hatred, it will become...
You're right. But that also... I understand curious...
Huh.
Emily, Traveler. Huh? Edgar.
Oh, it's you two! Didn't you head back to your room to rest, Edgar? Is it really okay?
Besides, I don't have much time left in Sumeru.
We could do that for you, Master.
No need. I've grown I would imagine Sheriff...
The Night Watch!
That's right. I've stationed some of my men around the surrounding area, but we still don't have anyone standing guard next to... Exactly. After some discussion, we concluded that Sylvain has the highest risk of... And Emily's expertise is sure to come in handy in a pinch. That's why I want you.
Sounds perfectly reasonable.
Huh. Not a peep. Has Kirya given up on his revenge? Guess... Still nothing unusual. Paimon took a peek into the room next door and Sylvain's already sleeping.
Perhaps Kirya's true motive was simply forcing Sylvain to confess his crimes. No, that can't be right. If all he wanted was for Sylvain to be convicted for his true crimes, he could have tipped off the Marechaussee Phantom years ago. There must be something we're missing. Something extremely important.
Maybe we just need to calm down a little. How about some tea? That herbal blend from earlier was pretty tasty. You're right. Maybe we can look for a different distraction then, like looking at the flowers. Oh, there's a glaze lily here. Paimon didn't notice it earlier.
Flowers, glaze lilies, insects... Oh no! Sylvain's room! Quick!
Wait, what?
Hey, you hear? Someone was attacked again last night.
It was the older of the merchant brothers, right?
Yeah, I think his name was Sylvain. Poor guy was murdered in cold blood.
First it was Mr. Edgar, then that merchant named Lucian, and now...
Listen up, everyone. This is an act of...
It's been 3 days and they haven't even caught a...
Do you think it could be the work of an... I mean, how do you get away with something like that with...
Keep it moving, everyone. No law...
You don't know that. Kyria already attacked you once, and you survived.
You were the only reason I managed to survive.
Even if I wasn't there, Tynar...
Is that so? I suppose I'm a very fortunate person then. I have exceptional students, caring friends, and the respect of my peers. If it is indeed my time to go, then I'll die without. But Kyria has nothing. It really makes you wonder.
If you really want an answer, I suppose you'll have to ask Kyria himself.
Well, Emily, there's something else. But so many flowers were transported here for the show. Whether Kyria gets to me first, I know it's a lot.
Of course.
Really? Now
Sheriff Sham still has some questions.
Go ahead. Best not to keep him waiting.
I'm sorry, Master.
Another all-nighter. Paimon sure hopes Emily's plan will go well. Oh, but Holly still looks quite worried. Emily still isn't back. I hope she didn't run into any trouble. Yeah, that's...
Traveler, I had my men start spreading the information you requested. After listening to Emily's plan, to be honest, I'm still not sure how the
The key clue was right in front of us the entire time! Let's go! We'll show you where the culprit... Wasn't this incense originally in Lucian's room? This is it!
The glazed lily, huh? I think I've heard of it before.
Well, did you know it only blooms at night?
Emily, you're back!
Exactly as
A flower that only blooms at night.
Exactly. Although the Neopala lotus wouldn't be a good... That's why Kyria chose the glaze lily as his mechanism.
There's a sticky substance on the edge of the flower. If you stick the petals together with some...
That's right! He applied a diluted form of slime condensate to the petals to stick them together and enclosed a sample of agouste in the center. That way, the agouste would remain trapped inside during the daytime, unable to seep between the petals and evaporate. However, and
Kyria could execute his revenge without having to step foot inside the room.
By the next morning, the sample of agouste would have nearly fully evaporated. The glaze lily would have already closed.
Wait a second. You're telling me this version of agouste is so toxic Inhaling the minute amount trapped inside a flower is enough to kill a grown man? And how did Edgar even survive ingesting a whole bottle?
That's because a goose is just as dangerous now as it was all those years.
Ah, you mean people who are sensitive to elemental... That can't be right. They were involved in the...
I wouldn't use the word allergic necessarily. You can think of it this way. It's not that Sylvain and Lucien are innately sensitive.
The incense I smelled earlier seemed familiar. In Sumeru, scholars use spirit...
alchemically produced essential oils, the primordial seawater that caused unrest in Fontaine, not...
That stuff gave us a lot of trouble when we first came to Sumeru. Ah, yes.
In Sumeru, it's not uncommon to use incense indoors, so its presence wouldn't arouse suspicion.
Flowers are pretty important to this plan, huh?
Actually, it's not a coincidence at all.
No wonder he was willing to pay a small fortune to rent out the hotel. He probably used the mora Yelena left him, don't you think? But in the end...
There's a saying among forensic doctors in Fontaine. But up until this point, but because he's been disguised as someone...
Creating such an intricate mechanism out of a glaze lily, setting up the spirit, it all points to one person. Kyria and Edgar?
But Kyria was only in his teens back. Edgar's lived here for so many years. Even if...
Bad news, Sheriff! Mr. Edgar was attacked!
What?
A dark shadow-like figure just ran out of his room. It was giving off a really ominous aura. But before we could even react, the figure up and disappeared like some sort of ghost or... Do you think Kyria kidnapped?
I need you to think very carefully about this.
I mean, Mr. Edgar was so frail. I don't see how...
It would seem Master decided to tap into an ill-advised source of power.
What? But that's so dangerous with the condition he's in. It's...
But why? Why would he do that? He's already accomplished his revenge.
No. If his aim was to target everyone who had a hand in Yelena's death...
If he left Sylvain alive yesterday, not out of a desire to see him suffer, but to confirm the truth about why Yelena chose to die...
Then there's still one target left.
The shadow-like figure ran in the direction of the elevator, and my partner immediately chased after them.
We should hurry before they're forced to confront each other.
There is no escape!
Where in the world did he go? Let's ask the merchants nearby.
It's all right. Please, calm down and take a deep breath. Can you tell us what you saw?
I saw a black shadow. It ran right past me. How could something like that happen in broad daylight?
down!
Hey!
This is terrifying.
No! Don't come any closer!
If we go any further...
It's all right. I can detect a faint whiff of the scent from here. It's this way. Please, follow me.
Illusion shattered!
Committed to memory.
Torn to oblivion! There is no escape!
This may hurt a little. Roll!
The scent is getting stronger. This must be the place.
An insurmountable problem, I presume?
Oh! O's! Are you all right? Were you attacked?
No, I'm all right.
Let me take a look.
The air definitely feels heavy. It smells nice, but for some reason, this feeling...
Everything looks all right. It was probably just the stress of...
I can't rest. Mr. Edgar is still in... He's a good man.
O's, you need to calm down and listen to me. Edgar is the one we're after.
But how is that possible? Mr. Edgar is 70-something.
That's precisely why he had to resort to extraordinary measures to age himself. Kyria used a delusion to bring back the Auguste flower.
No. He couldn't have.
And what if the impersonation started before... I've yet to confirm it, but I suspect Kyria killed the real Edgar in Fontaine not long after his release from prison. While Edgar was incarcerated, Kyria started making preparations to replace him, including forcefully aging his body, studying perfumery, and planning the real Edgar. The new Edgar then decided to relocate to Sumeru, seemingly out of an innocuous desire to let go of the past. He even left perfume making, and Sumeru fit the bill to a T, with no one around to question his identity. All he had to do was grow a beard. As the years went by, he removed his disguise little by little and continued to refine his skills.
That explains why Sylvain said he barely recognized Edgar back at the hotel. He aged himself decades beyond his years just so he could accomplish his revenge.
I need to find Mr. Edgar. He's not...
What you really need is to get out of here and rest.
No,
Wait! This environment is likely being influenced by the delusion. Any discomfort. No, I know how to relieve your symptoms, Miss. I'm sure Kyria. No, Edgar.
Would Kale's right. The Traveler and I will take things from here. This leads me to believe those blessed with a vision or capable of wielding elemental power are more... Actually, now that I think about it, this stronghold... I hate to trouble you.
Thank. Hear that? We're heading out.
Traveler, for someone whose only purpose in life is revenge, there is no...
Don't worry. This isn't the end. We're not going to let a goose kill anyone else. It's time for the... Monsters. Perhaps they were attracted here by the increased level of elemental energy.
This may hurt a little.
I've never seen these seeds before. They must also have been created with the power of a delusion. It seems to be avoiding us, and there's no other way forward. Perhaps we could try luring it to the edge of the cliff.
Whoa, look at all the... There are so many of them. Paimon can't believe us.
I fear that statement is truer than you know, Paimon. Using a delusion...
But why would... He only needed a few bucks.
Perhaps hatred wasn't the only emotion fueled. Not long ago, he told me he didn't want all the... But Kyria betrayed Snezhnaya, abandoned Fontaine, and lived his... For someone with nowhere to call home. Perhaps dying among a bed of Auguste flowers just...
Reconstitute! Laid bare.
Committed to memory. Yeah. This may hurt a little. Plant that destroys seeds. Huh. Quite the ecological marvel. Let's head back to the place where the seeds first appeared.
scent of flowers is getting stronger. We're almost at the end. The scent of flowers is getting stronger.
Did they catch up that fast? No. My strength is just waning. But it doesn't matter. This is far enough.
This is a garden of Auguste flowers. But it's not mine. It's the one that was set on fire all those years ago in Fontaine. Yelena? Yelena! You tried to hide it from me, but I always understood. The reason why you continued to use the delusion, the reason why you set your garden on fire, it was all because of me. I shouldn't have listened to you that day. I shouldn't have taken the Mora and ran. But by the time I realized something wasn't right, there was nothing left. The flowers were gone. And so were you. I know I'm almost 20 years too late. I should have come looking for you earlier. I should have died with you that day. Yelena? Yelena! No! Don't leave me! Please! Yelena!
Emily? I'm alive. No.
That was an illusion, likely brought about by the residual toxin in your body coupled with the pollen in the air, neither of which are fatal.
No. The amount of Auguste I drank, it should have been enough. A fake.
We started making the preparations last night with one goal in mind, to create a perfect accord. The accord is the basis of perfume making,
the product in its most primitive form. Ambergris mixed with cedarwood, rounded out with a base note of agarwood.
This is the scent of leather?
Exactly. We're unable to extract essential oils from leather, but by combining other raw materials, we can recreate its essence. That is the purpose of an accord.
Does that mean you can recreate any scent in the whole world?
I'm afraid not. Certain fragrances in this world are simply one of a kind. That quality is what draws people in and fuels their obsessions.
If I wear a goose to the ball, I'll also be one of a kind.
Our competitor already got their hands on it.
It doesn't matter how much it costs. I have to buy something better.
This fragrance will be one of a kind, no more. Myths can be deconstructed, miracles can be recreated. All it takes is skill, experience, limitless exploration, and a little patience. The only thing left is determining where the real Auguste is hidden. Pretending to be attacked means he's not free to move around. Auguste must be hidden within reach.
Paimon took a peek through the window earlier and his house was packed with flowers.
The curator commissioned a flower pot from Kasharawar, capable of retaining heat and moisture.
Perfumes are as beautiful as flowers, and equally as delicate. When stored, you must take care to control the temperature and keep them away from direct sunlight. Did you get all that, Emily?
I got it.
Did you hear? Someone was attacked again last night.
So, Sylvain is dead. Is that right?
Yes, Master.
So, you switched the bottles of Auguste, and then lied to me about Sylvain's death.
Convincing you that your revenge had been completed was the easiest way to get you to let down your guard.
Impossible. Even if you found a way to switch out the bottles, there's no way you could have made an accord. If Auguste was so easy to replicate, Yelena wouldn't have.
It was a combination of rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias. Those ingredients would have conflicted with each other if you tried to combine them in the past. But recently, we found a way for them to work together.
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies, and Cecilias.
Auguste was created over 10 years ago. All this time, people never stopped analyzing it, never stopped trying to recreate it. Perfumery techniques are advancing day by day. We've found better ways to extract essential oils, separate oils and fats. We even discovered new ways to combine fragrances together. the mythos surrounding
The past.
You've been working as a perfumer for all these years. You should have always... But the meaning you assigned to a goose, you believed in its divinity and grandeur. Your obsession with a goose...
We just didn't expect it to happen so fast.
Well, so, since you've been preparing your court, that means the news of Sylvain's death.
Yes. If we hadn't, you might have resorted to the delusion.
Who knows?
I know if you had things your way. All the crimes he concealed back...
Is that so?
Whoa, he accepted that kind of fast.
I don't feel the need to justify. I did what I set out to do.
Careful, everyone.
Stick close.
Looks like...
Of course, Master.
The combination.
The scent of a goose is complex and varied. So, as I was...
You're saying Yelena does...
Rainbow roses, glaze lilies. But if you cultivate a new...
Rainbow roses. Clay, Yelena.
Art is the key ingredient in fine dining.
Did you know? Miss Emily's releasing a new perfume! Right?
Seems like everyone in Fontaine is talking about the new perfume.
I was hoping to release... I just hope it won't become the sort... I did. Also, I would...
Of course!
It's... Besides, when it comes to perfume...
Right! Do those flowers have... The language of flowers? Oh!
What each flower is... After returning to Fontaine, I did some research. Perhaps that's the legacy Yelena always...
You think Kyria knew about that?
I paid him a visit before his trial and explained what Who knows? Maybe she didn't mean anything by... Yelena is gone. We'll never know what she was thinking. Even if that is what she... Avenging her death? Kyria cultivated his revenge like a... In any case, thank you for saving my life. Love and hatred when someone dies. But even if it's only a conjecture, the meaning we give... And yet, at the very...
Art is the key ingredient in fine dining. Art is the key ingredient in fine dining. Forget about me. This is about
Send Melanie and Lynette to another show.
If you want tea or water, just help yourselves.
Forget about me. This is about me. So annoyed.
To another show. I see everything.
If you want tea or water, just help yourselves.
Ugh, I'm so annoyed.
I gotta make sure Lynette stays away from the dish racks.
When will Lenny and Lynette to another show?
If you want tea or water, just help yourselves.
I'm so annoyed.
Sure Lynette stays away from the dish racks.
When will Lenny and Lynette to another show?
If you want tea or water, just help yourselves. just help yourselves.